Hello and welcome to Daily News Simplified, an answer to what, why, and how of newspaper analysis from the UPSC perspective. Today, we have taken up important articles from the Hindu and the Indian Express newspaper dated 6 November 2023. Topics which we are going to discuss are displayed on your screen, and the time stamping will be provided in the YouTube description box. So, here we have taken up 4 pre topics and 2 mains topics. So the 4 pre-topics are: first is Wolbachia method, second is ballistic missiles, third is electoral system, and the fourth one is infrastructure investment trust. Similarly, we have taken up 2 mains topics. The first one is issues related to working women. Second is composite water management index, and in this we'll take up water stress in detail. So now let's start with our discussion. So our first prelim pointer is based on this news article which appeared on science section in the Hindu newspaper. The context of this article is that scientists find out that Wolbachia method is quite successful in curbing dengue cases. Okay, so as you know, UPSC has been asking questions related to scientific discovery related to diseases. So here in 2022, UPSC has framed question on Wolbachia method. So here we have taken up practice question based on the same. So the first statement is Wolbachia is a type of viral strain that is commonly found in many arthropods. Now here, half of the statement is correct. Which one? Second half. That is that it is commonly found in many arthropods, including insect, but it is not a type of viral strain. It is a type of bacteria. This makes the statement incorrect. Now let's come to the second statement. It is a genetic engineering method used to control viral disease spread by mosquitoes. Now, it is not a genetic engineer method. It is a biological method. Basically, Wolbachia is a naturally occurring bacteria. So what will happen? Wolbachia bacteria is injected in male mosquito. So when this male mosquito will mate with female mosquito, so this offspring will also have Wolbachia bacteria, and which makes them less likely to survive. And that is why this method is quite successful in curbing dengue cases. This makes our second statement incorrect. So here our answer is neither one nor two. And answer of this PYQ is option A. Now let's come to the second pre-pointer. Recently, Russia test launched intercontinental ballistic missile, that is Bulava, which carries nuclear warhead. It is a 12-meter long missile with a range of 8,800 kilometers. Okay. Now, UPSC has been asking questions based on new technology development with respect to defense sector. As in 2023, they have asked questions based on ballistic missiles and Agni 4. So here we have taken a practice question based on ballistic missile. So the first statement is ballistic missiles are generally long range missile. Now this statement is correct. Why? Because ballistic missile vary from short range to intercontinental range missile. That is, they cover 300 to more than 5,000 kilometer area. So this makes our first statement correct. Now let's come to the second statement. Ballistic missile is actively guided throughout the entire flight. Now, ballistic missile follows a parabolic path. That is specific parabolic path guided by velocity and gravity. Okay. Unlike cruise missile, which is guided by active path that we can guide them in between, ballistic missile follow pre-decided path, that is parabolic path. This makes our second statement incorrect. Now, let's come to the third statement. Ballistic missile can carry conventional high explosive as well as chemical, biological and nuclear munitions. This statement is correct. So, this makes our answer option B, that is only 2. And answer of this PYQ is option D. Now, let's come to the next pre-pointer. Context of this news article is that this article basically talk about split party system followed in New Zealand. Now, what is split party system? Here, we have a simultaneous election in local MPs and in parliament. Okay. And UPSC has been asking questions related to various aspects related to electoral system. Right, in 2017, they have framed question on right to vote. So here we have taken a practice question on Indian electoral system. So the first statement is, all elections to parliament are carried out using a first past the post electoral system. Now, as you know, parliament consists of President, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. So in Rajya Sabha, elections guided by first past the post electoral system. But in President and Rajya Sabha case, we followed proportional representative system. This makes our first statement incorrect. Okay. Now let's come to the second statement. According to the Constitution of India, right to vote and to be elected is a fundamental right. Now, again, this statement is incorrect. Why? Because it is a constitutional right under Article 326. And that is why answer of this PYQ is option C. Right to vote is a constitutional right and not a fundamental right. Okay. Now, let's come to the last statement. In India, general elections follow the principle of one man, one vote and one value. Now, this is a simple statement which is obviously correct. So, here answer is only A. First, only one, that is option A. Now, let's come to our last pre-pointer. Which is based on this news article. Context is that Infrastructure Investment Trust collects rupees 18,658 crore in April and September. Now, UPSC has been asking question based on resource mobilization. Like in 2023, they have framed reasoning assertion based question on same Infrastructure Investment Trust, that is INVITS. Okay. So now, here you have to find out the correct statements. So the first statement is, INVITS are regulated by SEBI. This statement is correct. They are regulated by SEBI. Second is, INVITS must invest only in completed and revenue generating infrastructure projects. Now, this statement is incorrect. Why? Because INVITS can spend 80% in completed and revenue generating infrastructure projects, but still 20% they can spend on other projects as well. This makes our second statement incorrect. Now, third statement is, income earned from the investment made in INVITS is exempted from taxation. Now, INVITS lend money on which they earn interest. They invest money on which they get dividend, and both are taxable. This makes third statement incorrect, and that is why here our answer is only one, that is option A. And answer of this PYQ is option D. Now, this is all for the pre-section. Now let's come to the mains topic. Our first mains topic is based on this news article which appeared on page number 1 in the Hindu newspaper. Context of this article is that our Defense Minister Rajnath Singh placed one proposal in which they grant leave to women soldiers, air warriors and sailors for maternity leave, child care leave, and child adoption leave on par of officers. Basically, earlier these facilities were limited to female officers only. But now, according to this proposal, if they accepted, these facilities will be allowed to or will be available to air warriors, sailors, and women soldiers. For what? To help them to have a well established, to make healthy working, to make, uh, you can say, to have a healthy lifestyle, plus professional lifestyle, and to make easier, to make working condition more easier for them. Okay, so now we just talk about maternity leave. So let's see important provisions of Maternity Benefit Act in this regard. So there was a Maternity Benefit Act 1961 in which they provided 12 weeks paid leave to women. Okay, and this act had some shortcomings, so they came up a Reform Maternity Benefit Act, that is Maternity Benefit Amendment Act 2017, in which they provided 26 weeks paid leave. Okay, so they increased this time from 12 to 26. Now, in 1961 Act, they haven't mentioned about surrogate mothers, adoptive mothers, but in 2017 Act, they mentioned about surrogate mothers and adoptive mothers. They provided 12 weeks paid leave to them. Also, they added provision of work from home for women. Also, they added a provision of establishment of crèche facilities in an organization having 50 or more than 50 members. Okay, so these all provisions are related to Maternity Amendment Act 2017. Okay, now coming from no maternity leave in 1950s to 26-week paid maternity leave in 2017, women cover a very long journey, which is very remarkable. Why? Because lack of maternity leave was one of the challenge faced by working women in India. And you can say that availing leave is an island of prosperity in an ocean of poverty. Why I'm telling this? Because this is one of the issue. Or you can say this is not only a standalone issue. There are many issues faced by women, faced by working women. So in today's discussion, we'll take up issues faced by working women, what are the steps taken by the government, and what are the steps government should take in this regard. Okay, now why we have taken this topic? Because women as a group, vulnerable group, is quite important for your society in paper 1, and it is also important for your paper 2 under social justice. Also, UPSC has been repeatedly asking questions related to challenges faced by women. For example, in year 2013, they have framed question that male membership needs to be encouraged in order to make women's organization free from gender bias. Again, in year 2019, they asked about continued challenges for women in India against time and space. This is from the mains perspective. This theme is also important for your prelims because in year 2017, they have framed, in year 2019, they have framed question on Maternity Benefit Amendment Act 2017. Okay, which we have just now discussed. So now let's come to the challenges faced by female workers. The first in this is family duties. Now, how this is a challenge? First, because you can say because of patriarchal thinking or patriarchal conditioning, it is tend to believe that traditional role of women is to take care of husband, child, and to do household work, especially kitchen. And still they believe, and even women also believe, that their aspiration towards career or professional life is secondary. And that is why most of the family you can see lacks emotional and mental support towards working women. And this is one of the reasons why most of the working women came out of workforce once they are married or having children. And this is well established. This is well established by International Labour Organization, according to which 20% of women came out of workforce once they are married or having children. Why? Because there is a conflict with family duties. Okay, this is one of the factors. Second is mental and sexual harassment. Now, women at workplace faces issues like rumor mongering, stalking, groping, etc. Now, these itself is a big issue. Worse than that is that they can't place a formal complaint because there was not a standard procedure earlier. And even if they make, there is a fear that they will be out of the organization. Okay, so in this regard, government came up with Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 2013. Though it eased the process, but it acts as a deterrent against in bringing inclusivity in team, inducting more female members in team, because male managers feel more comfortable with all men team. So firstly, this act as a deterrent. Second, there is a provision in this act that every state need to appoint district officer in each district for better to monitor this act wisely. But states conveniently bypass this. Okay. So this is the second factor or the second challenge faced by working women. Next is unequal pay. Another challenge is unequal pay. Because of patriarchal mindset, you can say that male are getting more wages than female in comparison, because there is an underlying notion that male is more productive than female. See, there is not a scientific discovery over this, but this is an underlying notion because of patriarchal mindset. And this is after when we have statutory backing in place in respect of Equal Remuneration Act 1976, which provides equal remuneration between men and women. Even after this, we have gender pay gap. According to ILO, India stands among India with 5 nations stands at the bottom with a gender wage gap of 34%. And according to Global Gender in Pay Index 2023, India ranks 127 out of 146 countries. And the reason is patriarchal mindset. The next is glass ceiling effect. Now, what is glass ceiling effect? Glass ceiling is a social barrier which restricts female getting top position. Now, you take example of X and Y candidates. X is male and Y is female. Both are having same educational qualification. Okay. Both are having same working experience. But X will get promotion. Y will not. Why? Because X is male and Y is female. There is a glass ceiling that one will be promoted, one will not. Just because they think that women are not that much productive or they will not be able to give that much time because of family duties. So all these points are interlinked. Okay. The next is gender stereotypes. Now, what is gender stereotypes? Gender stereotypes is that there is a notion that female are good in certain kind of jobs. You can take example like call centers, nursing or hospitality sector, which makes this sector known as pink collar jobs. Why? Because most of the female employed in these sectors, okay, in comparison to male. So there's a gender stereotype that male can do technical jobs better and female can do this pink collar jobs in a better way. And that is why, according to Team Lease, there's one report published by Team Lease. According to it, the number of graduates of students pursuing higher education, in that comparison, females are higher than males. But the same amount, if you see in technical courses, PhD courses, male ratio is higher than female. Why? Because of the same reason, gender stereotyping. Okay. Last but not the least, lack of sanitation facility. There is a constraint of washroom in public area, and even if washroom is there, women make to share the common washroom, which makes it difficult for women in menstruation time. And that is why most of the female opt work from home, or they prefer flexible jobs, which are normally lower paying jobs. That is why, according to 2011 census, there are 48% females, and in that, only 23% above 15 females joined workforce in India. And the major reason is lack of sanitation facility. Okay. Now, we have seen many challenges, and will term all these challenges as external challenges. Family duties, sexual harassment conducted by external factors. Okay. Unequal pay, lack of sanitation facility. But there's one internal factor also. What is that? That because of continuous patriarchal rule, women themselves have some kind of biases or mindset in which they don't want to work. There's a very interesting report published by a social attitude survey by Economics and Political Weekly. According to it, 40% of male and female think that if male is earning, there's no need of female to earn. So they can sit at home and do this family course. They can control the household, which they think their prime responsibility. This is one of the internal factor. Okay. So we have seen the challenges faced by female workers. Now let's see what are the steps already taken by the government. The first in this is Maternity Benefit Act 2017, which we have just now discussed, that it provided maternity leave of 26 weeks. Okay. And you should know that India is the third largest maternity leave provider. Okay. Then next is Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. This is superseded by Vishakha guidelines. Okay. So basically this act provides ICC, that is Internal Complaint Committee at the organizational level, and Local Complaint Committee at the local and block level. Then next is National Commission for Women Act 1990, which will safeguard the women's right. Came in year 1992. Then we have Gender Advancement Through Transforming Institution, that is GATI. This is very interesting. Recently, Science and Technology came up with the idea that they will rank institutes on the basis of women enrolled and their career advancement. This is something new. Then we have seen what are the steps already taken by the government. Now let's see what steps government should take. The first is to promote self-help groups. Government should promote self-help groups for to have a women friendly environment. And the best example of these two is this group is Kudumshri in Kerala and Seva in Gujarat. Then next is gender sensitization. This is very important. There is a need to sensitize male employee in an organization, and this should be part of HR induction policy. Okay. The next is information on company policy. See, this is much needed that once female joined an organization, they should be well briefed about the protocols with respect to sexual harassment, gender discrimination, etc. This will enhance women participation in an organization. Then next is government can promote innovative solutions like public crèche facilities at the work clusters. Okay. Then restriction on women. There is a need to remove restriction on women. Like till now, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana only state which allow women in all the processes or in all the organization. You take it plantation, whatever job portfolio, they allow women in all the sectors. So we should follow Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh in this regard. Okay. So now, in this article, we have covered the causes why there is a problem with respect to gender participation. Why then we have seen steps taken by the government and what are the way forwards. Now, women participation is not only for gender equality. We need them because they are the key drivers for societal progress, economic prosperity. So, by unlocking the potential of women participation, we can solve our problems like poverty. We can have a good human capital, which will take us near to our SDG goal 5, that is promotion of gender equality. Okay, so that's all from this topic. Now let's move to another main topic that is based on this article, which appeared on page number 1 in the Indian Express. According to this article, Niti Aayog is planning to discontinue their index on water management, and that index is Composite Water Management Index. Niti Aayog bought this index in year 2018, so it's been more than 5 years. Now they are thinking to discontinue. Why? To make it more inclusive, to add more factors, to have a better analysis with respect to water management. So for this reason, Niti Aayog is planning to discontinue this report. And as you know that this article revolves around water management, which is important for your paper 1. As in syllabus, they have mentioned distribution of key natural resources across the world, including Indian subcontinent. And it is also important under geophysical phenomena and from your paper 3. Now, why this theme is important? Because UPSC has been asking question based on the same. There was a question on water stress and how and why does it differ regionally in India, came in year 2019. Another question, impact of melting of Himalayan glaciers, came in year 2020. So in this regard, in this discussion, we'll see the key findings of this index, which is important for your pre-examination. Then in detail, we'll see what is water stress, what are the reasons behind water stress or water scarcity. Then we'll see impact of water scarcity on different sectors, and we'll end our discussion with a way forward. So now let's start our discussion. See, why we need scientific management. for better mapping of water resources, which is good for economy as well as for ecology. So, in this composite water index, they came with the fact that there is a fall of per person water availability. So, according to this report, if that availability is 1700 cubic meter per person per day per year, then there is a water shortage. If it is less than 1700 cubic meter, and if that ratio is 1000 cubic meter per person per year, then there is water scarcity. And in India, the value is 1485 cubic meter. So we are water scarce country and moving toward water shortage country and moving towards scarcity. Okay. Next, this index is basically to have better database decision making and to foster competitive federalism. And this report is based on 9 parameters which is displayed on your screen. These 9 parameters, they rank out of 100. So let's quickly see the key finding of this report. The first is states are displaying progress, but overall performance remain is low. See, according to this report, 80% of the states are showing progress. But the catch is that 16 out of 27 states scored less than 50. That means they are low performing states with respect to water management. Still, states are showing progress, but that progress is not sufficient. The next is high performers continue to demonstrate strong water management practices, but low performance are struggling to cope up. See, there's an irony that high performance are going up. High performance states like Andhra Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, they are performing very well with respect to water management. But the problem is with low performance states because they are not able to match with high performance states in water handling capacity. And that is why that they are struggling to cope up. States like Bihar, states like UP, they are not doing very well in this regard. Then next is large economic contributors have low water management scores. Now, large economic states like Delhi, UP, Kerala, they are contributing maximum to the economic output, but they are performing very low performing with respect to water management. And that is why they highlight a conflict between economic growth and sustainability. Because they are contributing most to the economic output, but they are not doing very well with respect to water management. Last is, and that is very alarming, that water security is also at risk. Food security is food security is also at risk. Now, most of the top agricultural produce states, except Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh, other than these two states, all are performing very badly with respect to water management. And you know what? If there is a shortage of or there is a constraint of water, then obviously it will impact agricultural output. Agricultural output will not be sufficient, which in turn will reflect food security, which is another major issue. Just because of mismanagement of water resources. Okay, so these are the important key findings of Niti Aayog index, which is important for your pre-examination. Now, let's touch the main topic, that is water stress or water scarcity, which is very relevant for your mains examination. Now, what is water stress? Stress itself comes with negative connotation. Water stress is basically pardon my handwriting, when demand of water exceeds availability of water. That is water stress, or you can say water scarcity. Okay. So now, if you burden any kind of fresh resource, then definitely it will deteriorate it quantity wise and quality wise. And that is water stress. So now, before moving to causes, you should know some fact with respect to status of water management in India. India is the largest groundwater user in the world. Then next is USA, and then next is China. Okay. So now let's discuss causes or reason behind water stress in India. The first one is limited water availability. Now you know that India holds 4% of fresh water resource, and on that 17% of world's population is dependent on that. 17% world's livestock population is dependent on that. So if you take cumulative of this, that is 34 percentage. Now 34 percentage living organism dependent on 4%. Obviously this is like visible imbalance, and this is one of the cause behind water stress. Then next is monsoon dependence. Now you know India is a monsoon dependent country. Why? Because most of the precipitation came in months of June, July, August, September. So for the rest of the months, we need water to be stored during these months. Obviously, we need to well manage our resources. Otherwise, it will lead to crisis. And this is second factor behind water stress. Then next is climate change. Now everyone well aware of this factor. Okay. Climate change involves a complexity around water, like it will change intensity, discharge of river water, all because of climate change. You know the impact of global warming on precipitation or intensity. Then very next is very important factor or cause, that is water guzzling agricultural sector. Now, agriculture sector is the most important one, or consuming the most or maximum amount of water, groundwater you could say. Why? Because 90% or 80% of India's irrigation dependent on groundwater. Now if 80% of India's irrigation dependent on groundwater, and still farmers are continuing with flood irrigation and planting water guzzling crops like rice and sugarcane in water scarce area, definitely there will be a crisis now. Because of this 80% of consumption for irrigation, groundwater level of India was 7.6 centimeter in year 2000 or 1976, and you know in 2017 it is 9.6. It is on an average. And if you take water scarce states like Punjab, Maharashtra, it is 10 centimeter worse. Okay. And the reason is that water scarce states still continuing with water guzzling crops. Then next is export of virtual water. Now, plus our agriculture sector is water guzzling. Above that, we are promoting or we are exporting virtual water in the form of sugar and rice. Okay, which is another major challenge. The next is water governance. How it is an issue? Because you should know that water as a subject is under state as entry 17, and interwater system is under union as entry 56. So how there will be a balance? Because of this lack of clarity, there is a lack of proper governance. And that is why Mirsha committee emphasized on this problem. They mentioned in this report that India's water governance is working on silos. Why? Because half is controlled by state, half chunk is controlled by union. How there will be a uniformity? Okay, so this is a challenge with respect to water governance in India. Now the next one is very obvious, that is pollution. Our fresh water resources pumped by pesticides, untreated human waste, industrial pollutants, and that is why they are the hub of pollutants like nitrate, fluoride, arsenic. You just name, they are the hub. They are hosting lot of pollutants. We'll tell you one amazing report recently published in Hindu newspaper that because of arsenic, uh, which is because of the polluted underground water, there is a reduction of gray matter in children, which is a source of concentration. So there is a reduction of gray matter because of arsenic in drinking water. And the reason, you know. The next is water user fee. See, every state is having, or most of the states is having water user fee. Take it Tamil Nadu, take it UP. But that fee is too nominal that led to indiscriminate use of water, which is a sheer manifestation of water wastage. Okay, so these are the causes of water stress in India. Now, let's see its potential risk or its impact on various sectors. The first in this is social and political risk. Now, just now we have seen that 80% of our irrigation is based on underground water. Okay, so if there is a scarcity of water, obviously it will affect our agricultural output, which will lead to food scarcity. Then just now I told you about that how polluted water can lead to various ailments. Okay, so it will hamper health also. Now, cumulative of health and food scarcity will lead to social unrest. Okay, and this social unrest will in turn will affect political stability. So see how water stress can create social and political risk. You must have seen many news articles which are talking about that, or which mention about a river water dispute between two states, that who will take how much like share of water, like Kaveri between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Okay. Next is energy shortage. Now the mainstay of energy hub is thermal power plants in India, and 70% of those thermal power plants will face shortage of water by year 2030. So it will hamper our energy also in long run. Then next is it is a threat to urbanization. For this, we'll tell you a very good example. Everyone must have heard about day zero in year 2019 in Chennai. On this day, every tap turns out dry and people need to stand in long queue to get their quota of water. You just imagine this is a day zero, like we are talking about the one day incident. If this problem persists for a week or a month, you can imagine the chaos it will create. Okay, so with this you can understand that it will lead to threat to urbanization. Then next is damaged ecosystem. Now obviously water scarcity will because of water scarcity, natural ecosystem will lose out. Let's understand this also with very good example. You must have heard about Aral Sea. Even UPSC framed a question on this information. See, Aral Sea was the fourth largest freshwater resource, And in nearly 3 decades, or you can see, or you can take 30 years, Aral, the area got shrink is equivalent to Lake Michigan, and now it is a place of salty water. See how, because of urbanization, because we infuse lot of chemicals or pesticides, that fresh water resource converted into a hub of salty water. That's how water scarcity can damage the natural ecosystem. Okay, last but not the least, it will impact every sector, how it will leave industrial activity. So now here, less water, will show you with chart. See, less availability of water, there will be a shortage in production. Okay, now this shortage of production will create inflation, another issue. Shortage of production will impact livelihood because there will be less employment. See how water can create chaos. Multiple effects are there. Okay, so these are the potential risks associated with water stress in India. Now, what should be done? It is the ideal way to end our answer by promoting use of wastewater, recycle, reuse of water. This can be done by thermal power plants, different industry establishment. Basically, it will reduce their industrial water footprint, and even in urban area also, like in horticulture, uh, vehicle washing, etc. Then increasing water efficiency in agriculture. Just now, 80% coming from groundwater. So much needed is crop diversification. We should divert water guzzling crop to areas which are like full of water rather than water scarce states. And in this regard only, government is taking a lot of initiative to promote millets. Okay. Then next is water pricing. Now just now I told you that we have a nominal fee which is not acting as a deterrent. For that, what we need? Effective water charge. And for that, what we need to have? Water meter across the distribution line. And to set that charge, we need to have independent authority, which should be depoliticized and rational. Okay. Then next is technology revamp. Obviously, we cannot amplify the natural resource. So what we can do? We can make wonders with the help of technology. Will tell you, it is revealed by Niti Aayog that Rajasthan, earlier there was a 1.76 hectare acre land, but because of this technology revamp, or they make the optimum utilization of technology, now that area is 2.56 hectare, and this is a case study revealed by Niti Aayog. So this reflects that how technology can do the wonders. The best example is Israel. Now, utilizing Asian water sowing and harvesting system. Obviously, we should follow our old techniques like power system in Rajasthan. Last but not the least, transboundary partnership is also crucial because we have transboundary rivers like Indus, Brahmaputra. So for future generation, we need to have transboundary partnership. So these are the important way forward in this regard. Now, let us see one very interesting case study in this regard. There was a village, Jhakni village in Bundelkhand, Uttar Pradesh. This was an example of drought-prone area. But because of their exemplary water management techniques, now this village is exporting, or you can say cultivating, 26,000 hectare basmati rice, which is an example of water guzzling crop. So these are the other examples or other case studies which you can quote in your answer. Okay. So that's all for today. Stay tuned for more such updates.